Good morning and a very, very warm welcome to Hanisha, Kunal, Twishi, and Priya. Welcome to SCMS. And I'm so glad that you could take out time to be here with us today. The new batch has joined us, and like we started some journey, I'm sure they are anxious, they are curious, and they have a lot of questions, and who better to address them, answer them, deal with them than their own seniors, their own family members. I'm sure this is going to be a very exciting session for them, but I want to tell you that just don't wait for the panel discussion next time. Please come to SCMS as and when you want. I'm so grateful to Hanisha when she reached out to us for the session, for the e-guest lecture this year. In fact, we started a series of e-guest lectures with her. You want to do that? Please do that. You want to just talk to them. We have something called AMA, which is Ask Me Anything, and there's no faculty and staff over there. Please, you're most welcome, and let them talk to you, or you feel that you're part of the corporate world and there's some course which has come up and must be introduced in our institute, please feel free to tell us. Or maybe it's just one of those days when you're missing your college life and you want to go down the memory path. Now that virtual platforms are a reality, just call us. We will give you a virtual tour of SCMS and help you relive all those memories. Welcome back to SCMS and have a great time.
Thank you very much, ma'am. It's a deep honor to be here. Thank you to everybody for hosting this panel. I'm sure I speak for everyone here that we're deeply honored and we're very, very happy to be back and have been given this opportunity to speak to everyone. So thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for your insightful words.
Now we move on to the first segment of the day, a panel discussion with some of the distinguished alumni of SCMS Pune. The alumni in today's panel have established themselves in varying fields and continue to make their mark on the world.
The first speaker for the day is Ms. Hanisha Lalwani, an alumnus of batch 2004-2007. She's a multi-award-winning marketing and communications professional and published writer with 11+ years of experience within the travel and hospitality, professional services, and FMCG industries. In 2017, Ms. Lalwani won the Outstanding Young Communicator of the Year award by the Middle East PR Association in Dubai. And in 2018, the UK Marketing Society recognized her as highly commended Young Marketing Leader of the Year. Based in Dubai, Ms. Lalwani is currently the Senior Marketing Manager for the Middle East and African region at Page Group and the Vice President of the Middle East PR Association's Youth Board. We welcome you, ma'am.
Our next speaker is Mr. Kunal Shah, an alumnus of batch 2006 to 2009. He is a banking professional with diversified and progressive work experience. He has worked at Credit Suisse for 7 years and has held the position of both Assistant Vice President, Operational Risk Management, and Assistant Vice President, First Line of Defense Support during his tenure. Based in London, Mr. Shah is currently the Assistant Vice President, Non-Financial Risk Management in Deutsche Bank. We welcome you, sir.
Our third speaker for the day is Ms. Twishi Chaturvedi, an alumnus of batch 2006-2009. She has worked with a multi-award-winning global marketing consultancy, delivering growth to clients within the FMCG, retail, broadcasting, and skincare sector. She has worked with Trinity Marketing for over 7 years and has served as both Senior Marketing Executive and Marketing Manager, and worked with Unilever, Mars, Nestle, PepsiCo, and BBC, to name a few. Based in the United Kingdom, Ms. Chaturvedi is currently Channel Marketing Manager at Siemens. We welcome you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Our last speaker is Ms. Priya Venkatraman, an alumnus of batch 2015 to 2018. Ms. Venkatraman was the General Representative of the Student Council and was also awarded the Best Outgoing Student 2017 to 2018. She joined her family-managed business, Safe Clearing and Forwarding, as a marketing executive and worked in broadening the company's client base for over a year. Currently, she is Customer Experience Coordinator in a French-based shipping and supply chain company, CGM Agencies India Private Limited. which happens to be ranked among the top 3 shipping companies in the world. We welcome you, ma'am.
We are sure that the alumni will inspire the current students to rise to their potential. We request Dr. Sushil Marvade to kindly initiate and facilitate the session.
Thank you so much, Tanya. And I absolutely agree with you on your statement when you said that our dear alumni will definitely inspire the young minds, the upcoming batch. I would like to certainly mention here that what an amazing and essential combination that we have today. Miss Hanisha from the very first batch. From 2006-9 batch, we have Mr. Kunal and Miss Twishi. And from the recent batch, we have Miss Priya Venkatraman, who graduated in 2018. So on this note, I would like to begin by asking my first question to Miss Hanisha from the very first batch. Miss Hanisha, today you're the senior marketing manager and you have represented yourself on the various platforms, different organizations and different clients you have worked with. I would like to know, since these are very really great achievements that you have, I could go through your profile and I saw that senior marketing manager for Middle East and Africa region page group, also vice president of the Middle East India Association Youth Board. Now, my question is, during your college days, only did you have a clear idea what you would love to do in future? Or you have reached there today and it's been like that for you? How was it? Was it pre-planned, everything?
No, sorry to break it to you, nothing was pre-planned. I just knew that I wasn't interested in finance or operations. I wasn't interested in, the science side of things. So I was creative, I knew that. So when I used to attend my marketing classes in college, I quite enjoyed it. I think my professor left a huge impact on me. And then I decided to do my master's in marketing. So that's when I went to Australia to do that. And in Australia, one of the subjects that I learned was public relations that I had no exposure to before that. So that's what I got my first job in. I got my first job in a PR agency. I quickly realized a year and a half in that I don't want to be just a PR person. I want to broaden my horizons and learn about all spectrums of marketing. And then that's how I got into my second job. Marketing executive, became assistant marketing manager, became manager, came back to assistant marketing manager when I transferred to Dubai, and then manager again. So it's just been, you just go with the flow. And then the more you are in the discipline that you work in, you realize you start to get the passion for it. And you put in the work and you want to excel in what you do. You want to spend the 10 hours of your day doing really well. So I never pre-planned anything. I am somebody who goes with the flow.
Yeah, so the gist I can say is that things cannot be pre-planned, but still you can grab an opportunity and move ahead, right?
Absolutely.
And that's what you're an example of.
Yeah.
Very good. My next question is to Mr. Kunal, AVP at Deutsche Bank. Hello, Mr. Kunal.
Hello, hello.
Is it like an old dream coming true for you, or you had a detour from your plan beforehand, like the best, you got some best opportunities and challenges in front of you and you grabbed it? This question is on the similar lines what I asked to Ms. Hanisha. How was it for you?
Yes. First of all, thank you for such a warm welcome and kind words and the introduction as well. I'm quite honored to be on the call. Coming back to your question, I think I do echo with Hanisha as well that it's in my example, in my case, I did have a vague idea as to what I wanted to do initially. In the sense that I wanted to be within banking and financial services industry, but I didn't know what to do in that industry, and what was I looking for in that exactly. So when I started my career, I did join Credit Suisse, which was a tick mark because I did want to start my career and pursue a career in banking. But then I realized that banking is not just one small stream of discipline. It's just a huge world in itself, and that's where I realized that okay, I need to be a bit more tactical. in terms of, what I want to do. I know that, I want to be at certain stage of my career after some ages or after some years. But then how do I want to achieve that particular stage was what I wanted to get to. I was not clear initially, but then with various experiments, if you see my profile, I have first started with investment banking and M&A. I moved to client finance. I moved to risk management. Different. After different experiments, I think now I have a bit of an idea as to what I want to do. But initially, yes, it was. I had an idea, but didn't know exactly where exactly I wanted to pursue. But of course, different trial and error works out then.
Superb. So there is definitely a message for our students that you may or may not know what is going to happen in the future, but then you can always drive through, you can always maneuver or maybe detour. And even if it is a detour, it can be a great opportunity for you to grow.
Yes.
That was amazing experience that you shared. My next question is to Ms. Twishi.
Yes, sir.
On the similar lines, but with a little twist. You remember that we had, just before this interaction, we had a couple of times an interaction. I wanted to know more about your experience, your journey. And I got to know that you're from Kanpur. Is it correct?
Yes, that is correct. Proud, small town girl.
Small town, yeah. So on that line only, I wanted to ask, from Kanpur to Kingdom, how that journey has been for you?
It's been really interesting actually, because like the rest of my friends here, it's nothing that you can plan. Sometimes life takes its course and you just have to flow with it. So I started off with Simbi and did my business degree, then decided sort of after I came out saying, oh, you know what, I want to do films, so I want to be a filmmaker. And I gave my exams. I got through Simbi again, luckily, in the lovely campus. And things just happened. And my sister got a job in the UK. And she said, no, you have to come. You have to experience the world outside and get out of India. Come here, come here. I don't know what changed. And I went. And it's been a whole other journey. So the interesting thing is you kind of, like the rest of us, like, I don't think we can plan it perfectly. It just happens. And today as well, I wonder, how did that actually happen? Because I was going to another university. I was going to do a different course, and from business degree to film degree to going back into marketing to then working for a client side, and now agency side, like Hanisha, working for agencies, working with FMCG companies. Now I'm working in finance for Siemens, working with construction and manufacturing and all of those kind of things. So it's a bit of a, jumbled up journey, but fun.
Superb. So I'll tell you what was the premise or basis behind asking that question is, because being the faculty mentor, we come across a lot of students coming to us asking, sir, I'm from this small town. How will that experience be for me? And that's why I intentionally asked you this question, not in a straight way, but then from Kanpur to Kingdom, how has been your journey?
So I think coming from a small town does make a lot of difference. I think you and I had spoken about this, that when you initially come out, like in a small town, it's very easy. You know everybody knows you. There are a few, you run in the same pack, in the same groups, in the same clubs, in the same things. And then you come into a place like Pune, which was a perfect mix, I think, between a big metropolitan like Delhi or Bombay and a small town. It was a good mixture. But there are so many things that you have to learn. There are lots of insecurities. You come with, I remember the first time, I had no fashion sense. So I used to wear these big baggy cargo pants with lots of pockets. And you learn from your peers.
I don't believe that you didn't have a fashion sense, because I remember you saying that you got some award also, Miss.
Yes. Oh God, embarrassing. I was awarded Miss BBA. Well, that was not for my fashion sense. I can guarantee you that. that was purely luck.
So tell us something about it. So you being from a small town and then you being this BBA. So this will definitely guide our students to boost their confidence that anything is possible.
Absolutely, and I think one of the big learnings for me in that journey was that I used to be quite scared of trying things. I mean, I come across mostly quite confident, but I'm scared, so scared of the stage, and I wasn't going to apply for the contest. My friend forced me, like, oh, let's just go fill up a form. It's just a form, and then I got selected, and I was like, oh, but I'm going to have to go and like do all these things, like I'm going to have to talk on the stage. And I kept thinking, and my friends really encouraged me, really egged me on that, you can do it, you should do it. And so many people helped me through that. I don't think I could have succeeded in that without their help. But going on there, I remember there was a question answer round and all those things. And my legs were literally shaking. I remember them shaking my knees. I thought I would buckle and fall. But it was really interesting because at the end of that, I thought, you know what? Like, had I not tried it, had I not shown any courage or anything, I wouldn't have come here. If I hadn't filled up that form, I wouldn't have gotten this award. And it's a really prized award. I mean, I feel quite shy talking about it, but in my heart, I feel like, oh, I got something. And I think the idea there is that, you will have to get out of your comfort zones. You will have to push yourself a little bit, but college is all about that. And you have friends and, it's like 300 amazing people around you who are ready to help you through that process. So, pick up and go, just try.
That's a fantastic message for my upcoming batch and the students. My next question is to my student, Priya Venkatraman. Hello, Priya.
Hi.
Good to see you. And I still feel that you're my student, and maybe someday you will come rushing saying that, sir, there is this problem, we didn't receive this, we didn't receive that, or then maybe this event will go haywire. I still remember those days when you were very active and you handled everything in a jiffy. Yeah. So my question to you is, you could do multiple things and you had a really good knack for problem solving. How did you pull out that? How did you do that?
Firstly, I'd like to extend a very good morning to everybody on this panel. I'm really looking forward to the interaction. Thank you, Adya ma'am, for your kind words in the beginning. Thank you to Rishabh and Tanya for the introduction. Sushils are looking forward to answering your question as well. I'm no expert at problem solving. It's something that I pick up while I'm in the problem. And it's only experience that helps me be better at what I'm doing. Speaking of how I handle things, managing breakdowns as such, it's not something that you're born with. It's something that you learn only through experience. Personally, I relate a lot to what Twishi said about having stage fright and being afraid to be in front of so many people. I may seem confident, but there's a battle that's going on inside me that I've managed to curb through coping mechanisms that I've developed for myself over the years. So anxiety is something everybody will deal with. And stressful situations are not something that you come across only at work or only when you're doing something at college. It's something that you face on a daily basis. It is something that you will have to tackle irrespective of where you are in life. So to understand the problem and prioritize, I think that's what will help you solve the problem in a structured manner. It's always easier to tackle one small problem as opposed to one large problem. So if there's one large problem that you're facing, it's always nice when you're able to fragment it into tiny pieces. And then when you list it down, you can see that, it's possible to prioritize from easy to difficult or important to unimportant, or I'd rather say less important instead of unimportant. So once you have that structure in place, you automatically tend to solve the small problems much quicker. And then when you notice at large, you've solved majority of the issue that you had come across. There was this, I'd like to limit all my experiences and examples to things that I went through in college. So it'll be more relatable to the students that are sitting there in the audience. I'm sure before they have their first lecture, even they're listening to all of us talk about our experiences. It may get a little overwhelming. But what I want to say is there was this one time when we were organizing Simpulse in second year, that's the college fest, I was head of a department and I had my co-heads with me. And there was this really high profile event that was happening in the auditorium. But that event was running longer than it was supposed to. And that impacted the event that was supposed to happen in the same venue after. The judge for the next event had already arrived. They were waiting in the conference room. Participants slowly started to trickle in. And at that point, we as second year students, 18, 19 years old, we're panicking because we don't know how to go about this, how are we going to, hold the judge there and ensure that they're not too agitated. So at that point, it was about taking a decision for us. It was about deciding if we wanted to be graceful and humble and apologize to the next guest and apologize to the participants for the wait, for the delay, or if we want to change the location and have it somewhere else so that it happens in a seamless manner. Both the options seemed pretty viable, but with option one, we were also risking losing our college reputation, because we don't want a judge to go back thinking, oh, SCMS is a business college, but they're not really great at organizing an event. They weren't able to time it well. No, we don't want that. And we also don't want participants to not come back the next year thinking that this was very haphazardly organized. So it was my co-heads and I, of course, very split second decision. We decided to change the venue after consulting with our faculty members. And internally, we knew the trouble we were in and the kind of stress we were taking. But externally, it did come across as a very seamless process. We got good reviews from the judges. We got great reviews from the participants who did come back next year to participate at the fest. So it's all about the calm that you put on, even while you're dealing with the stress. You cannot let it show. And you need to be able to be so calm in a situation that automatically everything becomes so clear in front of you. I think that's how I tried to manage most of the problems that I came across in college. And I continue to use the same mechanism at work. I break it down, and once it becomes easy to see, once you notice that it's not really that big of a deal, it automatically becomes easy to solve.
Superb. You also served as an example, and you shared your experiences, and I'm sure Tanya and Risho must have also noted these things, that how they dealt with the situation. Good, thank you so much. My next question is to Mr. Kunal. In your case, what would that one thing for you that you still remember that SCMS gave you? What SCMS gave you?
Yeah, I was on mute. I would say resilience is something which I still remember back in 2008, 2009. That's when we were in our third year and the subprime crisis took place, and the economic market, the job market was in complete doldrums. And there was a lot of uncertainty in terms of what was going to happen for job placements at that, in that year. And I think coming out of that situation and the way we and the college as well managed that situation was something which I took as a good life lesson. And it did work out for me a bit later as well. And as the same lessons were useful when I was, I'll probably share one personal experience. So when I was with Credit Suisse, I, along with my teammates, were going to be made redundant because there was probably no need for that role to be continued. So in that case, or in that scenario, I did go back to the same days when I was in college and third year, and then again the same uncertainty. There was a lot of vulnerability around us. So the way we managed to come out of that situation was the same way I applied in my professional career as well. And thankfully, when one door shut, another door opened at the same time, and I could move forward. So that was something which I took, which I learned from the college, which was resilience, as in how do we ensure that we don't really, never back down, never get bogged down. It's, just get up and, continue forward. that was something which I picked up as a good lesson from those days.
So that was resilience, right? And then I'm pretty sure that is highly relatable what you are saying. The students are going through, of course, it is just their beginning of the journey. And after 2-3 years, they will be in some situation, but we are pretty sure that the economy will recover by that time. But then, right now also, they may have certain feeling that what are these times, we cannot meet our friends and all that, correct? But then, I'm pretty sure that not only these students, but we are also facing, we all are in the same boat. We also have our own things to share that we also don't have a very good experience nowadays, right? So what would you say about that? Are we on the same boat, do you think, or we are at the better position? What do you say?
Yeah, I mean, I'm guessing you're asking in the context of the current pandemic situation, right? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, even today, I think all of us, I'm pretty sure about myself that, all of us are worried about, jobs, are worried about what's going to happen in the coming days. There's just so much of uncertainty around us at this point in time as well. So yes, you're right. I mean, us as well in the professional side undergo the same situation as the students are probably going through at the moment. Because I mean, who would have thought that an in-house college having a virtual induction session. So we are living in strange times at the moment, but I think the students should be comforted in the fact that it's not just them, it's us as well on the other side who are facing the same problems, and we are trying to adapt to some new circumstances, the new way of working, virtually at home, or because it was never thought of. Like we could never think, especially in my industry, when I talk about banking, we never thought that almost 95% of the company will be working from home. It was just an unheard situation or an unheard scenario. But I guess we are living in the same times as the students are. So definitely, yes, we are also on the same boat, same issues, same uncertainties, same problems. But I guess there is light at the end of the tunnel, right?
Correct. So that was the optimistic message from your side. I intentionally avoided the word positive because positive is the most negative word in 2020 now. So my question is to Ms. Hanisha, what is the positive message optimistic message you would like to give to my students?
I just want to say that don't worry. These 3 years that you have ahead of yourself, please, if there's one thing you should do is not to worry about the future, because that will not lead us to anything. I want to share that we need to come to terms with the fact that the economy that we live in, the world that we live in, has completely disrupted. The realities will be, we will all face layoffs. It's a 40-year span career, right, that we're looking at. At some point, we will be laid off. At some point, we will face pay cuts. At some point, we won't get our bonuses. At some point, we'll have to switch our entire career fields, right? It is a reality. Let's just come to terms with it and be at peace and not worry. I will give an example. For I think in 2018, I was in London to collect an award that I had received. I was on top of my game with my career at Marriott, with Marriott Hotels in Dubai. And the next thing I know, me and my entire team are laid off, right? You do fall into the trap of taking it personally. Like, did I go wrong somewhere? Did I not do enough? What is it that I lack or need to improve on? But after analyzing all of that, you understand that it's not me. It's just the way the world works. 3 years prior, when I was still working in Pune with Marriott Hotels, I worked so hard to build and brand a hotel. After 3 years of doing that, the hotel got deflagged, it got shut down. Was there anything that I lacked or did not do? So In my 11-year career, I have already faced 2 layoffs. When this whole pandemic broke out, I think I was probably the only one in the room, in my friend circle or in my colleague circle, that really was not hassled. Because these experiences, they build your resilience, and you have to have enough confidence in yourself that you're going to be able to, figure something out, or life has a way of working things out. I do also want to stress on the amazing things that this pandemic has resulted in. Whoever thought that companies in India, of all the places, would introduce period leave? Whoever thought flights like Qantas and Singapore Airlines would launch flights to nowhere and they would be sold out in 10 minutes? Whoever thought that I would be sitting here on is it a Wednesday morning? I've even lost track of the days. Sitting in my house on a Wednesday morning instead of going to the office, and speak to you instead of like logging into my email, because my boss trusts me enough to do my work and manage my time, right? So let's focus on the positives. Let's not be disillusioned at the same time. Let's not be under this false hope that, oh yes, the economy will get better in 2021 because the market knows when 31st December is over. Let's just be very, very practical and take a day, eat one day at a time.
So what brilliant insights you have given. So that's a really good note to begin on. I'm talking on behalf of my students. So right now you're talking about what is there in front of us. We have achievements, and at one point there might be layoffs or pay cuts. Be prepared. Don't take it so seriously, and don't take it very personally as well. That experience of that hotel, correct? So very good. My next question now is to Ms. Twishi. What optimistic message you would like to give to my students?
I think, you know what, I'm learning a lot from everyone here as well. So and it's really inspiring to hear what everyone's saying. I agree with Hanisha that there is no way that you can know what lies ahead. Sometimes there will be layoffs. In my case, actually, funnily, I will tell you, I actually quit my job after 7 years last year, just because I've fallen out of love with it. And I'd worked in the agency side for 7 years, working with brilliant clients like so Mars and Nestle and PepsiCo and all of those people, building strategies, this, that, and the other. But I'd done it, and I wasn't growing, and I wasn't learning. And the ultimate idea is to continue to learn. If you're not learning, it's fine. You'll be fine. And I decided for myself, I've got experience, I'll quit, and we'll see. And you know what? Nobody could have predicted that there'll be a pandemic the next year. I got lucky. I am in a role that I absolutely love. I love the people that I work with. Your team is very, very important. So, like Anisha was saying, don't worry. Things have a way of working out. They will shape up. If you don't have a job immediately after college, it's okay. You will find a job. There are billions of jobs out there. If you don't have your dream job, that's also okay. It will work out, because eventually you will figure out what your dream actually is. A lot of things at the beginning of your career seem like, I want to be, like Kunal was saying, I want to be in banking. But when you go inside, you figure out there is so many layers of it. And even in marketing for myself, I think I didn't know there was an agency side, a client side, a PR, all the different layers of it. So all of those things will start taking shape as you build your career, and it will happen. And at any point, if you want to change your stream, don't feel scared. It's okay. It is absolutely fine. It happens. Lots of people do it. Do it whenever you want to do it. Do it at whatever age you think is right for you. Don't be bogged down by what's happening in someone else's life, because a lot of my friends moved right out of undergrad into great companies. Some, into big real estate companies, some into marketing, advertising companies. And I used to look at them and think, oh my God, my career is not going anywhere. But it was different. I just had a different career path. And I've learned so much over time, and you will too. So choose those experiences over those little achievements. It's okay if you're not following the regular path.
Yes, choosing experience is important. So what has been one thing that you still remember from college days? If that thing wouldn't have happened, you wouldn't have changed, or that impacted your personality a lot or your attitude a lot. What is that in case of?
I think in general, like I was saying earlier, I think building those soft skills in college, getting that confidence to dive into anything was a big learning experience for me in college, because I think had I not come to Symbiosis, and in Symbiosis we are very lucky that we get people from Dubai, like Hanisha. We get people from all around the world. Really, we had an Iranian student in our class. We had someone from Africa in our class. We had lots of people, and of course all over India. And you learn those ways of dealing with people from big towns, from small towns, from different languages, cultures, experiences, and um, you're trying to mesh with them as well. You're trying to fit in as much as they are. And I don't think I would have been able to take that, go straight from Kanpur or anywhere else to like you say, Kingdom, sir, without having that step in between. Learning from others is really important, and it has really helped me in my career where I am now, because I deal with people at all different levels. I'm talking to global heads of companies to right down to the secretaries, the assistants, everybody in between, the students, the interns, everyone. So it's it's understanding where how to talk to somebody, how to respect them, and all of those things I think happened with me for in Simbi, because I was talking to faculty. I was quite close to the faculty back then. Equally, I knew all the different batches, so I still have friends who are I know somebody from Hanisha's batch actually who's moving to London and gave me a call and said, hey, I want to know more about it. And we've caught up more over time in life as well. And he's coming there now, and I'm sure we'll catch up then as well. So learning those things was really important.
Great. So my next question to you, Ms. Priya, do you remember, because you're from a recent batch, so I believe that you still have your memories fresh. So was there some kind of peer pressure? Since I know you, I know that you must have not been a victim of that peer pressure, but how you or other people handle from your batch the peer pressure and what you chose about that?
Yes, as you mentioned, the last person to succumb to peer pressure would be me, because I was always a master of my own decisions. But I strongly believe that we as humans, we must have respect for each other and respect for what people believe in. Sometimes people may have opinions that are different from yours. Doesn't mean that they are wrong. It doesn't make you superior to them. So ultimately, it boils down to the fact that you cannot be passing judgment at other people's choices. Again, it is also important to respect yourself, because only when you respect yourself are you feel the strength to back the decisions that you make once you respect yourself. So obviously, when you come to college, you face peer pressure at all stages in life. It's not just college. There's peer pressure at school, there's peer pressure at college. Peer pressure takes you forward at work also. Like every environment does have peer pressure, but the way you deal with it speaks volumes about how you are as a person. I'd just like to say that once you are able to back your decisions, it's not hard for people to respect you for who you are, and they won't try to force you to do things you're not comfortable doing. Speaking of like my work environment also, like common informal bonding sessions happen during little breaks that we take during the course of the day at work. And those breaks are generally smoke breaks. Personally, smoking is not for me. I'm not a fan, but it never, I never felt forced to have a smoke with my colleagues while while interacting with them. It's important to have a very good connection with the people you work with for a positive work environment, but you need to know where you want to draw your limits and not judge people for the choices that they make. Now, I used to take these breaks to have my chai, and I would still interact with them and get along with them perfectly well, while standing on to what I believe in. So it's important that you stay true to yourself, and it's very easy to get by, whether it's college or whether it's work. It's really not as complicated as we make it out to be. Another like silly example is back in college. I had this phase in second year where I just wanted to color my hair red, and all my friends, they made fun of me. They said, "You're going to look so funny. You have vivacious curly hair. It's going to look like a lion. You're going to look like Simba. Don't do it." But I was like, at this point, it seems like a fun idea for me. So I'm going to go ahead and do it. And I did. I had a great time with red hair. But now when I look back at those pictures, as cringeworthy as they seem, it still reminds me of a time where I had a lot of fun and I don't have any regrets, basically. So it's important that, you stay true to yourself, and that is audacity against peer pressure.
Super. So on the similar lines, I would ask Mr. Kunal and Ms. Hanisha as well. What are your opinion on this? Choosing audacity over peer pressure. Ms. Hanisha first.
I remember in college, now almost 15-14 years back, in the second or third year, I think it's like I noticed like as if people in my batch, they went under a CAT spell, right? Everyone started preparing for their CAT exams. And it seemed like I was the only one that wasn't. I just, my heart and mind just wasn't in it. I wasn't going to spend those few precious hours after college, after a long day of studying in classes, to go and study for an entrance exam, for an MBA degree in India. I just didn't know if that's what I wanted. And I didn't fall under that pressure. That's one example. I think that was quite courageous of me, because anyone else would have probably chosen to also follow suit. But I also want to give an example of, in a social setting. I was part of a group in college that was so like everyone of them in that group was so highly accomplished. So one of them was the general representative, an extremely popular person. The other person was a cultural representative. The other one was an artist and an international student beyond par excellence, The other one was part of the placement cell. What was I? I was a lead singer of the band. Okay, great. I get to shine twice a year. But it's about, like I think one of the other speakers said, it's about learning from them. It's about observing. I think you become smarter when you also are an observer. And you use that to understand, okay, who am I? Where do I find myself in all of this? And it doesn't mean that you have your answers, now, this instant. It's about giving yourself that time and space. And again, having that courage of conviction that you are your own person. You're not going to do something just because everyone else is. Again, like after school, I remember class 12, most of my schoolmates, they went to the US or the UK for their further education. For me, it was like, yeah, that just does not fit my zone of thinking. I think it's just something innate in me that when 10 people are saying the same thing, I just have to find something different. And this is really that way of thinking has become so instinctive now, and it has worked in my favor to differentiate myself in my career, in my workplace. I'll always say that one thing, which is the elephant in the room. I'll always say the things that everyone is thinking, but they don't have the courage to say. So I think college was a good sort of training ground for me to understand who I am. And it's okay if I'm not the cultural rep or the general rep. That's fine. I may not be the most popular person, but I'm also the one sitting here and speaking to you today.
Okay, super. So I totally agree with what you said about observing. So we don't have enough time in life to make all the mistakes ourselves. We can also observe. We can also learn from the good examples.
Professor Sushil, you have really hit the nail on the head. don't waste time making your own mistakes. If you get the right kind of advice and you think, that sort of sounds pretty good, learn from someone else's mistakes and charter your path. I make no qualms about saying and admitting that I have perhaps lost 5 to 6 years of my life because I took, a very stupid path, I started from -5, not even 0, so learn from other people's mistakes. Take time out to reach out to alumni, take time out to identify mentors for yourself. Don't just sit and wait for life to happen to you. You'll waste time.
Yes, yes, yes. Mr. Kunal, so what would you have to say about, again, choosing audacity over peer pressure? And not just that, one more point I'll add this time, and not following the bandwagon. So what would be your opinion on that?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's today you have gyms, right? Now people are crazy about gyms, right? So gyms, you have cardio, you have weights and all. But if you don't feel like going to the gym, you might want to meditate outside, or you might want to play basketball outside. So it is important to stand out. And if you take a stance and stand out, you're going to be recognized for it. You're not going to be you're not going to be deemed an outcast, but you're going to be recognized for it. And it is sometimes important to raise your hand and say what you want to, because that is quite important. Like being under peer pressure, I think Priya rightly said that, you're not going to escape peer pressure at any stage of your life. You are going to face peer pressure during college, during your work life, in your social life, in your family life. But it's the way how you handle it. And if you don't handle it well, then there are adverse consequences to it as well. So it's not about, okay, fine, yeah, I am under peer pressure and I don't know what to do about it. But it's the way how you come out of it, right? And again, it's even if you are trying for, I don't know whether it's still around or not, but those Mr. BBA and Mrs. BBA, or the head captain, or I forgot the term, but if you think that you are capable of achieving that, go for it. Don't be bogged down by people around you saying that there are other good candidates as well who are much better than you. So your chances are less. If you don't try them, you're not going to know how much probability your chance gets, right? So it's worth raising your hand and be bold, be aggressive at times, but of course in a productive way. But I think it is important to pounce upon your opportunities as and when you get it, rather than just being surrounded by negative thoughts and your peers trying to bring you down.
So I would say that this conversation is so very useful to the upcoming batch, and I just don't want it to end. But then, because of the time constraint, I'll just sum it up. See, a lot of things we talked about. We talked about breakdowns, layoffs. We talked about the peer pressure, handling it, not following the suit, not making your own mistakes. Yeah, there are a lot of people who will be making mistakes. We can learn from that. We had such an amazing conversation. Thank you so much, dear alumni.